Well, good afternoon, everyone. Let me first say I'm sorry we're starting late, but it still is a very important thing we're doing here today. And I will just say to Scott and Vivian, this is a heartwarming and wonderful way for all of us, but for me especially, to end the week. So thank you for being patient and waiting for us. And to all of you standing here, actually looking out over Clark Field, that I've never seen in better shape, looking at this beautiful new facility that will ever be now associated and affiliated with one of the most historic spots on our campus, Clark Field. And generations who are remembering the university, come back to the university, they think, where's Clark Field now? And that's where we played this or played that. And now it'll be associated with the Caven family. And generations to come will come to play lacrosse here. What a great thing that will be. I see some of our good-sized squad. They'll be playing lacrosse here. Others will, and they will be today. But other people who come and just run on the track, throw the Frisbee. This is a social and athletic center of the campus. And again, that will forever be associated with and linked to the Caven family. You've done so much for us, Scott, as a regent, as the chairman of our board, Vivian. Your family is now not just for what you've done, you've always been woven into the fabric of this university, but now physically woven into the fabric of this great university. And so for that reason, this is a special, special moment for our campus and personally, Scott and Vivian, for me. This would not have happened but for the generosity of many people. First and foremost, the Caven family, Scott and Vivian. And I want to thank you and let all of us thank you for your leadership. And there are others, the generosity of Gary and Sylvie Crum. Thank you for your generosity. Mrs. Walter Caven, Carolyn Caven, Dr. Tom and Marcia Caven, Caitlin Caven, Andrew Caven, as I said, the whole Caven family, but I wanted to name them individually. Bob and Annie Graham, Charlie and Marcia Parker, Thomas Mason, and Gil Besson. We are blessed with great friends at this university who help in so many ways. But as I said earlier, this is a special moment to not only help our great university, but to weave the Caven name into the fabric of this university in such a special way. So it is a great honor for me to look out at this wonderful group and this wonderful facility and dedicate the Caven Family Lacrosse and Sports Center at Clark Field. Thank you very much. And now it's my pleasure to introduce a really wonderful leader on our campus, the president of Student Government, Natalie Butler.
Thank you, President Powers. Thank you all so much for being here as we celebrate this exciting improvement and addition to the University of Texas campus. The new Caven Lacrosse and Sports Center at Clark Field will undoubtedly be a fantastic addition to the Longhorn community. I lived in Jester Dormitory my freshman year, and I've enjoyed Clark Field that year and ever since. My friends and peers and I have taken PE classes at Clark Field. It's provided a safe place to exercise and train, and to use as a place to make friends and relationships through sports. An important part of the college experience is learning how to balance staying healthy with all of the other stresses of being a college student. And the more access that the student body has to high-quality recreation facilities, the better. The potential of the student body is maximized when we are healthy and able to take advantage of great services and facilities like this at Clark Field. This newly renovated space will add to the already world-class portfolio of RecSports. I know this space will be used by ROTC, by runners, by groups of students who are going to play lacrosse or play ultimate frisbee down here with their friends, and by any student who wants a great experience outdoors in this fantastic location. With these improvements and renovations, I know that Clark Field will become a regular destination for current students and for generations of students to come. On behalf of the student body, I want to sincerely thank the Caven family and everyone else who contributed to make this project possible. Your generous contributions to campus do not go unnoticed. Thank you for giving this space to the students at the University of Texas. Our university would not be the same place if it were not for the generosity of people like you. I also want to thank Associate Vice President for Student Affairs and Director of RecSports, Tom Dyson, for his tireless commitment to making this campus the best place that it can be for students. Thank you all for allowing me to be here today, and I now hope you will all join me in welcoming to the podium another person who displays a tireless commitment to students and to higher education across the state of Texas. It's my pleasure to introduce the leader of the University of Texas system, Chancellor Francisco Cigarroa.
Natalie, thank you very much for your words and for your introduction. And, really, we're just so blessed to have such outstanding students like yourself representing the University of Texas system. And in a way, this is what it's all about. I also want to, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for joining us today. And, really just the incredible UT friends and our colleagues and our students and our faculty and alumni who've really come to show not only admiration, but love and respect for Scott and Vivian Caven. And also to celebrate the opening of a field and a sports center named in honor of their family. And I'd like to talk just a little bit about family just for a second. Many of you know that, family is what it's all about, certainly for the Cigarroas. But at a time where I was facing a crossroad in my life, whether to go back to the field of pediatric surgery or to continue in an administrative role at the University of Texas system, Scott Caven was the one who counseled me and spoke to me a bit about wouldn't you be interested in perhaps interviewing for the chancellorship of the University of Texas system. And in many ways, that was like a family moment where Scott and Vivian gave me guidance and counsel. And so very simply, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that heart-to-heart talk with Scott Caven. So I consider Scott and Vivian and his entire family like family. So during this season of Thanksgiving, we do have a lot to be thankful for. First and foremost, for family and friendship, for the heart of the University of Texas experience. What starts here absolutely changes the world. I'm very thankful for my friendship with Scott and his family. And as I've stated, he was chairman of the Board of Regents when I was appointed chancellor of the University of Texas system. And now, because of that connection, we asked him to serve as chair of the Chancellor's Council. I don't really want to be too far away from Scott, which means I'm going to have many more opportunities to have wonderful discussions about how to advance excellence across the University of Texas system, but also to build upon our friendship and our love for each other. Scott is a very, very strong and highly respected leader who has served 3 governors. He always, every day, brings balance. He brings superb judgment and integrity to whatever he undertakes. In his commencement remarks 3 years ago to Plan 2 graduates, he said, quote, "A person who continually shows fairness and sincerity in his or her dealings with all people, who is universally straightforward and who is genuine and gains by fair methods will earn the respect of others over time." Well, he didn't intend it, but that is a perfect description of Scott himself. He is fair, he is sincere, he is straightforward, he is genuine, and he advances towards excellence every day in his life. The University of Texas could not ask for a better leader and friend, and all of us would have to unanimously state that the University of Texas stands taller because of Scott Caven and his family. Through the remarkable generosity of Scott, Vivian, and the Caven family, and the remarkable generosity of Gary and Sylvie Crum and the Crum family, we have this magnificent field and sports center. Their daughter, Clayton, is a UT senior. I think I can spot her from here. And an exceptional lacrosse player who has been nominated by the Lacrosse Magazine as one of the 4 finalists for Women's Collegiate Preseason Player of the Year. And later this afternoon, we will see Clayton playing in this beautiful field in a lacrosse scrimmage. Well, as President Powers has stated, Clark Field is a special place on a campus where students and faculty and staff members have been exercising and playing sports for decades, but building great citizenship. It is a beautiful idea to build something durable and permanent for others to enjoy, a field of play that a beloved son would appreciate and use it if he were here. The Caven son, Scott, excelled at lacrosse and looked forward to playing lacrosse at the University of Texas. So the Caven Lacrosse and Sports Center will make it possible for a new generation of students like Scotty to discover and play one of the oldest sports in America. But even more importantly, to build good sportsmanship, to build good citizenship, and to build upon the platform that will make the future leaders of the great state of Texas even greater. So through this gift, Scotty's spirit will remain a vital part of this beautiful University of Texas at Austin, a campus forever. So that is a blessing for all who knew him and loved him. And now it is my honor to introduce a great friend of the entire University of Texas system and our esteemed colleague, Mr. Scott Caven.
I'm very touched. That's the first time I've ever gotten a standing ovation. I, too, would like to thank you all very much for being here. This is our field of dreams. All of us, excuse me, all of us know that life is filled with ups and downs, with successes and failures, with victories and defeats, and with triumphs and tragedies. The triumph of this day began with a tragedy. As you've heard, the death of our son, Scotty Caven. I'm sorry. It was a week before he was to begin his freshman year as a Plan 2 honor student here at the university. The accident that took the life of Scotty and his best friend, Nick Finnegan, also a freshman entering Plan 2 honor student, whose mother, Susan, is here with us today. Took place on August 8th, 2004, 7 years, 3 months, and 10 days ago, as they were driving back home to Houston from Austin to spend one last week at home before beginning their college careers. In addition to Scotty's determination to consider his record of academic achievement that he had done in high school, he had hoped to play lacrosse for the UT men's lacrosse team. Scotty was an excellent athlete as well as a student, and after growing up playing the usual sports, he settled on lacrosse as his passion, and a passion indeed it was. I cannot remember a single day in his senior year at St. John's School in Houston when Scotty was not out practicing lacrosse, either on the school playing field or throwing and catching the ball with his lacrosse stick against the brick wall of our house. Scotty started for the varsity at St. John's and was recognized for his outstanding contribution to the team on several occasions. His high school coach, Sam Chambers, is here today, as are a few members of that team, and I think that they would attest to the commitment that Scotty had to the game of lacrosse. Before the accident, Scotty had met with the coaches of the UT men's lacrosse team, his longtime friend and neighbor, Bronson Parker, who is also here today, and Noah Fink, who I haven't seen, but I hope is here today, who was the head coach at that time. Scotty began practicing with the team that summer on a few occasions, very much hoping to make the team and play in the fall. About 6 months after the accident, Bronson and Noah approached me about exploring the possibility of renovating Clark Field for an all-weather venue and home for the men's and women's lacrosse teams of the University of Texas. Since I was then a member of the University of Texas Board of Regents system, they thought that I might have some influence in being able to persuade the school to improve the field in what has been a somewhat underutilized area, which many years ago served as the practice field for both the football team and the baseball teams, among others. Shortly thereafter, I called on Tom Dyson, the director of RecSports, and posed the question to him and to Eric Stoutner, the associate director, who were indeed receptive to the idea. That meeting was the beginning of a 6.5-year collaboration, which has finally resulted in the beautiful field that you see here today. Now, it is said that success has many parents and that failure is an orphan. The success of the creation of this wonderful facility includes many individuals who can rightfully claim parenthood. Noah Fink and Bronson Parker brought forward the idea. Tom Dyson and Eric Stoutner worked faithfully over that 6.5-year period through many starts and stops to make this dream a reality. Of course, as has been mentioned already, the financial support of contributors was critical in convincing the UT administration to support the project in this period of limited budget resources. And for this, we must recognize once again, first and foremost, the commitment of Sylvia and Gary Crum, without whose involvement in this project, we literally could not have gotten it off the ground, literally or figuratively. In addition, Hilvy and David Saperstein, Gil Beesing and his wife Tricia, Bob and Annie Graham, Charlie Parker and his wife Marcia, Laura Caven, Dr. Tom and Marcia Caven, and Caroline Caven all provided necessary and substantial financial commitments at a critical time. With these commitments, President Bill Powers last spring gave us the go-ahead to proceed with the construction. And Nancy Brazel of the President's office has provided continual and ongoing encouragement and support. Kevin Haggerty, the Chief Financial Officer of the university, and Dr. Juan Gonzalez of the UT administration were extremely helpful in identifying the resources which enable recreational sports to commit institutional funds to the project, and also involved in helping us identify the source of those funds was Keshav Rajagopalan, Scotty's high school friend, and at that time, the president of the UT student government. Now, I'd also like to recognize William Lawson for the very significant role he played in this project. William graduated from UT last May and now works for UT Athletics for the Lost Dodge. He was a member of the lacrosse team in his entire term at the university and served as coach captain in his senior year. His phone call to me in the summer of 2009 introduced me to Gil Beesing and to his company, Paragon Sports, which is in the business of constructing artificial turf fields and tracks. That company's president, William Schaff, helped us bring the true cost of construction into a realistic figure which we could afford. We also received support from the UT system in controlling the soft cost of this project. And I thank Dr. Scott Kelly, the Executive Vice Chancellor for Business Affairs, and Mr. Michael O'Donnell, Associate Vice Chancellor for Facilities Planning and Construction, for their support in bringing this project to fruition at a reasonable cost. And finally, the member of the UT system, who has been my friend, my chief counselor, confidant, and fellow fundraiser for the Caven Lacrosse Center, Dr. Randall Safety, Vice Chancellor for External Affairs, who's given me consistent encouragement to plow on to get this project completed. Our sincere thanks to you all of you parents of this field. In addition to being a tribute to Scotty, this facility is meant to honor all the members of the Caven family who have been involved with the University of Texas for almost a century, and especially those who are here with us today. The name Caven is an uncommon surname which ironically originated in Scotland. Our ancestors were farmers in Georgia and Alabama before immigrating to East Texas in 1859. But once arriving in Texas, they became wholly Texan. My late father, Hubbard Caven, who was the first in his family to attend college, began his freshman year 90 years ago this fall in 1921, and graduating in 1927 with a law degree. He worked his entire way through college as a janitor in his dormitory. My dad was followed in the late 1930s by his nephew and my first cousin, Walter Caven, who also became a prominent attorney and lobbyist here in Austin. His wife, Laura Caven, and their children, Dr. Tom Caven, who is the Vice President for Medical Affairs at the Brackenridge Medical Center here, and his sister, Caroline Caven, are all UT graduates. My own sister, Mary Gay Caven Merritt, where are you, Mary Gay? Oh, there you are, okay. Attended UT Austin and graduated from UT Dallas, but we consider that to be at least as involved. From our immediate family, who I would like to invite to come up here and stand before the stage: Lindsay, Preston, Jenny, and Will and Anastasia. Both Vivian and I are UT graduates, as you probably are aware, and our children, Preston, Lindsay, and Jenny, all earned degrees at UT, as did Preston's and Lindsay's spouses, Anastasia Breloff and Will Majors. Jenny graduated just this past May, and she also played lacrosse in high school and was co-captain of her junior varsity team. We are deeply grateful to them for their immeasurable love, support, and encouragement. Orange blood runs like a river in the Caven family. I've often been asked how I was able to pull this all together to complete this project in a mere 6.5 years at a reasonable cost. But in my case, my efforts are a testament to the value of persistence over ability. If you keep plugging away, something good will finally happen. We're standing here today at the dawn of a new era for the sport of lacrosse in Texas and in the Southwest. The closest facility of this quality is over 800 miles away at the University of Denver, which has a Division I varsity team. The next happens to be South Bend, Indiana, which is 1,000 miles away. It is our hope first that this practice and playing field will enable the UT men's and women's lacrosse teams to become the best in this part of the world by an order of magnitude. And second, that the building of this field will encourage other universities in Texas and the Southwest to build similar facilities to further enhance the visibility and popularity of the sport of lacrosse. Shortly after Scotty died, a friend who had also lost his daughter a few years earlier approached me and said something good will come of this. Although our family will never recover from the loss of Scotty, hopefully this facility, of which I'm sure Scotty would be proud, represents something good which has come as a result of our loss. And finally, it is our hope that from this day forward, the name Caven will be forever associated with the sport of lacrosse at UT and in the state of Texas. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Tom Dyson, and I have the privilege of serving as Director of the Division of Recreational Sports here at the university. Like the other speakers, we are very, very appreciative of everyone being here today to take part in the opening of this magnificent facility. I'd especially like to thank President Powers, Student Government President Butler, and Chancellor Cigaroa for sharing your kind and thoughtful remarks this afternoon. And Chairman Caven, Scott, it is a special honor to have you join us today and for you to share your passion for this project and what it means to you and Vivian and your entire family. Thank you so very much for being here. Before proceeding with the program, please indulge me for a few moments while I make some special acknowledgments on behalf of recreational sports. First of all, we want to recognize those key members of the project team who worked so diligently throughout the hottest summer on record in Austin, Texas, to design, manage, and construct this facility. Principal architect for the facility is Ms. Anita Moran. Representing Spa Glass Contractors, Senior Project Manager Brian Lofton and Project Superintendent James Nepper, and Architect and Project Manager with the UT Systems Office of Facility Planning and Construction, Mr. Bart Kleiman. If you'll all give them a round of applause. Additionally, we want to thank many in the UT administration, as well as generations of student leadership whose support was critical to the successful completion of this project. Most particularly, the division wants to recognize its primary partners in this endeavor, individuals whose benevolence and encouragement were essential in making this project a reality: Scott and Vivian Caven, and Gary and Sylvie Crum. These individuals are not only friends of the university, they have become great friends of recreational sports. And we are indebted to them for their amazing generosity and continued support. There's a plaque down here at the end of the podium. The recreational sports is very honored that this special plaque will be permanently installed on the exterior of the building behind you and serve as a lasting testament to their extraordinary contributions to this project and the university. It describes the passion that these two families have for the game of lacrosse, the partnership each has formed with recreational sports, and the profound impact they have had and will continue to have on the University of Texas. I hope everyone will have the opportunity to read the complete inscription following this program. Now I would like to invite Scott Marmillion and Elise Tan, presidents of the men's and women's lacrosse clubs to please come forward for two special presentations. Scott and Elise.
I'd like to ask Mr. and Mrs. Caven to please join me up here by the podium. On behalf of the whole Texas men's lacrosse team, I'd like to thank you for all your efforts in helping to realize this field. In recognition of your generosity, I'd like to present you with this genuine lacrosse helmet from our upcoming 2012 season.
Now I'd like to ask Mr. and Mrs. Crum to please join me on stage. Today marks a huge accomplishment for Texas lacrosse, but this is only a small peek at the Crum's dedication. I have been fortunate in being able to play with our daughter Clayton throughout my career at Texas and in witnessing her energy and enthusiasm on and off the field. The whole family has made such a huge difference, not only to our team, but to the sport of lacrosse in general. On behalf of Texas Women's Club Lacrosse, I would like to present these gifts as a token of our gratitude for all of their effort and energy.
I want to thank you all again for being with us today to share in this celebration. Before closing, I would be remiss if I did not thank my colleagues in recreational sports, who once again have demonstrated their talents and teamwork in preparing this venue in record time and in a quality fashion, and for helping to coordinate today's festivities. In just a few minutes, we'll be all treated to a brief inter-squad scrimmage by each of the men's and women's teams. In addition to watching the scrimmage, we hope you stick around, tour the site, enjoy some refreshments. But before we do anything else, I'm going to direct your attention to the south end of the field, and you can help me welcome the Longhorn Band.